Cool. All right. Here's one for Dr. Scott. Oh, are you guys ready to answer some questions?
No, I've got it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Go ahead.
Okay, we'll keep it short. Obstructive sleep apnea during REM stage linked to memory decline.
Uh-oh.
I think a lot of people ignore the fact that they have sleep apnea.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that that's a really bad thing to do.
Yeah.
Because it significantly cuts your life and
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. But it affects 936 million adults and may raise the risk for several neurological conditions, including Alzheimer's. Researchers from the University of California, Irvine, have found that sleep apnea severity during the REM stage of sleep negatively impacts verbal memory, and the negative impact is especially high in older adults at risk for Alzheimer's, the research reports.
Okay, well, there's somebody in the chat room right now that needs to be listening to this. So are you listening, person in the chat room? You need to wear your CPAP mask. For real.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. And so do you want to talk about the symptoms of sleep apnea so people know if they need to go get screen tests?
I mean, I just think if you are overweight and you snore,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, you should get it looked into.
Yeah,
I agree with that. If you are falling asleep,
true.
when you're pulling up to a red light, or
driving down a hill,
or what? Yes, or watching TV,
yes,
or reading if you can't stay awake,
or your wife is talking to you.
Yeah, well,
that's different.
The that's just whoops.
See, that's the things that are coming out of your mouth, Chuck. Babbling, insanity, delusions.
So that's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you have fatigue that seems not commensurate with your activity level, that you might want to get screened for sleep apnea as well. Particularly if you snore. If you have a partner that you sleep with, ask them to listen to you. Do you stop breathing?
Well, I listened to you and I didn't think you did, and you by God did.
It's not right. So it is it's sensitive but not specific.
Right, and it's not always
specific, but not sensitive.
And I think it's important to say it's not always obstructive. I mean, we're talking about obstructive sleep apnea now, but you can have people that are thin, like you,
correct,
that have terrible sleep apnea.
That is,
and they would never think of it. They'd be like, "Well, I don't look like somebody that has sleep apnea."
Very good, Dr. Scott.
I think it's important.
Yeah.
Maybe give thyself a bell.
Yay!
Yeah, just because I don't give a
those
shit
are
today.
People. Yes, those are people who have what's called central sleep apnea, and I have both.
Oh, wow.
So I had, I was tested at home. They do a screening test where they hook you up to a pulse oximeter, and then they might put a spring around your chest, and then it sends telemetry to this box, and then you take it in, and they'll look at it. And then if the screening test suggests that you have sleep apnea, then you want to do a more specific test, which is the true sleep, polysomnogram, the sleep test. And when they so I went to sleep, they saw me desaturating and stopped breathing, so they put the mask on me, and then they just had CPAP, and then I stopped breathing altogether.
Oh geez.
And my apneas were longer and longer, and so then they added what's called BiPAP, which is where it actually ventilates, it forces the air in. It's a non-invasive ventilator, and then it was fine.
Okay.
And so what my sleep guy said is sometimes people with who have complex sleep apnea, if you just give them CPAP, it just turns off their desire to breathe.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I'd never heard that before, so I'm assuming
I don't
that's
think I have either. Yeah.
sleep medicine thing.
It talks in this article about how sleep medicine is really not
a science
right now.
Right. Well,
and
they still don't know what sleep is.
A lot more needs to happen.
Absolutely, I agree. There are so many switches that have to be thrown for sleep to happen. And any one of those that doesn't get thrown properly will disturb your sleep.
Mm-hmm.
For my favorite example is the one where when you're in REM sleep, there's a switch that's supposed to flip that will paralyze you, at least stop you from moving around and acting your dreams out. So when that switch is not flipped and all the other ones are, then you have a somnambulist, a sleepwalker. They'll get up and act out their dreams. Then the other thing is if the switch for you to be paralyzed is on, but the consciousness switch is not switched off, you will have a hypnopompic episode where that's so-called sleep paralysis, where you're fully awake, but you're paralyzed. And REM sleep is still going on. So now you're hallucinating in real time. You're dreaming in real time. I've given lots of examples of when that used to happen to me, where I would hear papers floating around my head in 360 degrees, or I looked over and there was a giant floating eye looking at me. One time there was a gurney next to my bed. Yeah, stuff like that. So, that's true lucid dreaming. And if you can realize that that's what's happening, if you have sleep paralysis and you can get control of it, and then you can have lucid dreaming. You can make it do anything you want to, as long as you consciously know what's going on. But it's not really, to me, wasn't terrifying, but it is terrifying to so many people that they're panicking and they can't think of, the sort of the routine to get their dreams under control. First thing to do, short answer, is force your hand in front of your face. The second that you do that, then you have control over the dream, but you have to learn to force your hand up, and you're not moving it because you can't move. You're paralyzed. You're levitating your dream arm until it's in front of your face.
That's terrifying. And
Now, Tacey used to have it, and
every night in a certain haunted hotel.
And then we talked about that, the protocol for looking at her hand, and it never happened again.
That's because I got
No, you can
forced retirement.
You continued to go there, and it didn't happen anymore after that. And then you got forced retired. I remember how this went down, because it was like, maybe just talking about having a solution to it is a solution to the problem.
It's not fun.
But anyway.
Lovely hotel though.
Yep. All right. You got anything else?
Oh, no.
Casey? Okay, very good. Yeah, she's looking at her phone. All right. Thank you.
I mean, I do have one thing, but I think we should move on to questions.
Fine. That's fine.
Okay, ketogenic diet may help lower stress and boost mental health.
All right.
You used to be big on this. Are you still?
I am. I still am. Yeah.
Okay. So, a new study suggests that a ketogenic diet may also be associated with better mood and mental well-being in the general population. For those new to keto, experts recommend starting this dietary pattern under the guidance of a nutrition professional.
Yeah, and so many of them will go, no, keto's bad.
Yeah,
keto's bad. So you got to find somebody that's open to it.
Other dietary patterns, such as Mediterranean or DASH diets, have more robust evidence for improving mental health. So what's the point of this article then? I don't even understand.
Well, they're just saying that
there
are some benefits to it as well.
Yeah.
So I do more Mediterranean diet these days than I do, but I'm having difficulty losing weight. So I'm going to go back to the ketogenic low carb diet for a little while, just to kick it into gear. I got so desperate, I signed up for that HIMS thing. It's called HIMS.
Okay.
And there's HIMS and HERS. I guess they didn't want to have his and hers, but HIMS. They put me on naltrexone, which I thought was really interesting. Naltrexone is used for alcoholics.
Vivitrol?
Yes.
But that's the
injectable version. But naltrexone is used for people who have substance abuse disorder. And you would think, why does it work for alcohol? Well, the pain and pleasure centers of the brain are also function using endorphins, and that's one of the proposed hypotheses why that works. So, but every drug has lots of different sets of activities, but naltrexone in general is a mu opioid receptor antagonist, meaning that if you're taking, say, Percocet, and you take this stuff, that'll make the Percocet not work. And if you've been taking the Percocet for a long time, it can actually throw you into withdrawal. But so they have you on that, and B12 for whatever reason, I guess just to upsell you on something. And then Wellbutrin. Now the Wellbutrin gives me energy, but it makes me a little bit edgy. So I'm going to take it for a couple of weeks and see if I become a complete and utter asshole. The first day I took it, it was like I just wanted to strangle everybody. But now that I've been taking it, I think it was just that first day. And I feel a lot better. So, but and I've lost a couple of pounds, but you got to do the program too. You can't just assume a pill's going to fix your issue. But I think what they did was pretty comprehensive, and it's not phentermine. It's not traditional stimulants, and I like that. So we'll see. I'll let you know. I've just been having a lot of problems actually losing weight. I did great on Noom. I lost 40 pounds. And then over time, I kind of just got away from it, creeped back up, and then I couldn't lose it again. And some of that is age, and some of it is just stupidity.
I know somebody on phentermine and they've lost 20 pounds, but I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and that makes it can't make some people cranky. But then when you stop it, it comes right back.
It comes right back. And I have not said anything because it's none of my business. But
yeah, the original idea with phentermine was that you would take it and fenfluramine together forever. That was the idea, is because they understood the rebound thing. And but fenfluramine and phentermine together caused issues with people's heart valves because of serotonin axis.
Fen-phen.
Yeah, that was fen-phen, exactly right. And so the fenfluramine got taken off the market, but they still use phentermine. But there are people that have been on it for years, to maintain their weight loss. But anyway, all right. If you wanted to do it, Tace, I'd be all right with it. I can handle it.
It makes me nuts.
I can handle it. You think I can't handle nuts?
No, I can't. I can't handle nuts.
Well, that's.
Oh my God!
What? No, she didn't feel well. She didn't feel well. Don't poke the bear.
The hole is here.
Don't poke the bear.
Oh, guys, don't be talking about testicles.
No, you're talking about me, you asshole. And that's what I don't want you to talk about. So I've got the timer set to 3 minutes, and then let's start answering questions.
Okay. All right. The producer has spoken.
Number one thing, don't take advice from some asshole on the radio.
All right. And apparently that's me. So let's see here.
Hi, Dr. Steve. It's Nathan.
Hey, Nathan.
I talked to you a couple of times at Hackamania.
Oh, yeah. We got to do a Hackamania debriefing.
Oh, no.
Oh, good.
Play the grindcore demo that you found, man. Let the public hear it. We want to hear the grindcore.
Okay, so they're both shaking their heads. Neither one of them want to hear this, but just for you, my friend, I'll play just a couple of seconds of it.
The grindcore.
Timer's on. Can't be more than 3 minutes.
Well, you won't last 3 minutes.
Okay.
So this is we didn't even know what the genre was, and so we've placed it in the grindcore genre, but this was recorded in 1992.
Scott, do you even know what grindcore is?
Don't worry about it.
Do you even care?
No, you don't.
I love it. It's my favorite thing.
And but it was recorded in 1982 on a cassette with just a mic sitting out. So it's terrible recording, and the music is terrible. And this was my band Ass Maggot, and my stage name was Frank Fuck. So here you go.
Oh my God. All right, that's great.
Okay, that was called Fuck the Decayed.
Oh wow.
We had another one called I got to find the names of them. It's like one was Ingestion of Crack Whore Giblets. Which we stole the ideas. These were all our own names for songs, but from a band called Carcass that always had crazy names like that. So anyway, we'll hear a little bit more of this. So. There you go.
I'm really surprised they didn't make it more mainstream.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised.
They
with
must
that.
have just refused to sign with the
Yeah, they
Sony or
refused to-
RCA records.
They didn't take it from the man.
Yeah,
right.
that's right. We weren't going to take it from the man. Not part of your system, man. All right, Scott, here's one for you.
Oh God.
That's the GVAC. All you guys, titanium turds and whatnot. This is
What? Okay. Oh, you know what? This must be an old one. Okay.
Oh.
Well, good. Yeah. Well, shout out to GVAC. We love GVAC.
Bobby C. from Great City, Texas. I recently broke my fibula on Monday. Let me tell you, it hurts like a son of a bitch. So my fibula is broken, right? And I took my cast off. Well, it's a splint. They wrapped it up with some stuff. This one thing turned hard, and they wrapped it all up and whatnot. But I was stinking to high heaven today, so I took it off because I could finally move around. Been about a week, like I said. They gave me Tylenol 3, which is bullshit.
Tylenol 3 is Tylenol with codeine.
I washed my anus and my
Nice.
big meaty hog, and then looked at it, and it's purple and yellow all over the
Wait, his hog is purple and
I'm
yellow?
hoping he's talking about his fibula.
heel of my foot
No, yes. Okay.
on both sides.
What did that have to do with anything? He just had to brag.
Just had a break.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Is very dark purple. And I was wondering if maybe I should go back to the emergency room. They told me to go see an orthopedic guy, a boner doctor,
A bone doctor.
and I don't know what your thoughts were on it.
Oh my
I
goodness.
definitely am going to go follow up, but it's like $175 just to.
Oh, this really is old.
It is old, yeah.
So that was from 2015.
I hope
So-
you-
So anyway, you want to, but okay.
Well-
So he had a fibula
Fibula.
fracture.
Right. We assume it's his
That's
ankle.
correct. That is
Yeah.
the little tiny. There's two bones in the
Lower leg.
in the lower leg. One is the big shin bone, which is the tibia, and then there's a little bone that just sort of floats next to it. And I think, if I remember
It's
correctly, it's a
non-load-bearing.
syndesmosis. That's how
Syndesmosis.
it's attached,
Mhm.
and it forms the lateral part of the ankle too,
Mhm.
right?
That's correct. Yeah.
So and it's a really small little bone. If you get an attack or a hit from the lateral side of your leg, in other words, from the outside, with the force pushing in to your leg,
Mhm.
that's when you can get that thing broken. So anyway, so they put him in a cast or a splint.
Mhm.
He takes the splint off, and now his foot's purple,
Mhm.
and he's wondering if he needs to do anything. 9 years later. So
Mhm.
what do you think?
Well, I was just
I
going to.
know what it is, but
Yeah.
I know you do too.
Well, I was going to say, and I was going to add to that too. A lot of times when people roll their ankles to the outside,
Yes, that
because-
can do it too.
because
Yeah.
what'll happen, that fibula is just, it sticks down below, and goes down into your
Correct.
ankle a little bit. It just kind of stabilizes the outside of your ankle. So when you do roll your ankle, if you've ever seen somebody, and depending on if they're athletic or not, sometimes they'll actually surgically repair that.
Yeah.
Or just put a cast
If they're
on.
running and they run into they get their foot in a hole or
Yeah.
whatever, and it twists their ankle.
Yeah, a lot of times they'll do it. Yeah, if your foot's planted and you get hit from the outside, and
Yes.
that breaks your foot. That's gonna
Yeah.
break a lot of shit.
Yeah.
That's gonna be really awful. Yeah. So unfortunately, that what can happen is if they put your cast on or that splint on is too tight, that can cause a lot of problems. And one of them, did he say if it was really, really painful? Because the first thing I was thinking when he was
Boy,
describing
he
this
said
was,
he took it off when he was walking around.
oh, it was okay. Yeah, my first thought was like he had a CRPS or RSD, which would
Okay.
be a complex regional pain syndrome, which you can get after those ankle injuries if the cast is put on too tight.
Yeah. I think
Um,
this is more prosaic than that. I think
Yeah.
this is when he broke the bone, there's bleeding.
Oh, yeah, it's just
And then
blood, yeah.
gravity just pulls it down to
Yeah.
the ankle, to the heel.
Yeah.
And it's got nowhere else to go.
Yeah, the
it
gravity will get you.
It pools there, and
Yep.
you'll get what looks like a traveling hematoma.
Yep.
You can get that in other places of the body too. If you get a hit to the thigh,
Mhm.
that vastus lateralis, the big muscle of the thigh on the outside.
Mhm.
And then you get a bruise there. Sometimes you'll see the bruise looks like it's moving,
going
but what it
down.
is it's just the
Gravity.
blood is just being drawn down by gravity.
And that's a good way to see sometimes, especially in sports injuries, if we see someone that's got a muscle tear,
Yeah.
the muscles are so vascular, you'll see those big, huge, big, huge, blood pools, and they will go down towards your ground.
Yep.
So anyway, yeah, hope you got that checked out.
Very good.
God
Yeah,
almighty. Yeah, I do too. Good
Oops.
Lord.
All right.
I forgot we're on a timer.
Well, I don't remember approving the timer for this one, but that's okay. Maybe next week we'll do one without the timer. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Dr. Steve. I got a question for you about my back and numbness.
Okay.
Oftentimes when I work out and I'm doing exercises that put a lot of stress on my lower back, such as a deadlift or a squat, I notice after the workout and for a couple of days after that workout, if I'm sitting in the car for no longer than even 5 minutes, my lower back will go numb from left side to the right side, and it cuts off right above my ass and it goes up almost halfway to my back. And I'm just curious if that's something I should worry about and what could be causing that. Thanks,
Scott?
man.
Yeah.
Love the show.
Yeah. The first,
So he does heavy lifting,
Mhm.
and then when he sit in certain positions, then his leg goes numb.
Yeah, and the first thing I think of is a stenosis in the spine, which is a narrowing of the canal. But what it sounds like is that when he gets in certain positions, he's got what's called a spondylolisthesis, which is the vertebrae sliding forward slightly, and it's giving him the numbness.
Give thyself a bell.
Yeah, a couple
my
things.
God.
Yes,
Well, he gets a bell for
two,
that. That's a
baby,
good
two.
one.
But a couple things.
That's correct.
A couple things.
Basically, you
do-
guys get bells if you say what I'm thinking. If I thought of it,
like,
or if you surprise me with something, I go, "Ooh,
Oh,
then you
that's
get a
right.
bell."
Yeah. But does he need to be aware of it? Yes, he does.
Yeah.
And certainly the good news is the numbness goes away if he gets back in good position. And typically, what will happen is if that's the case, a really great physical therapist, then you can work on pelvic floor stabilization. You can work pelvic floor exercises,
Yeah.
abdominal strengthening exercises. That'll help a bunch.
People say, "Well, if I wear a girdle,
Mhm.
or a brace, it makes me feel better."
Mhm.
And that's because it's stabilizing the spine. It makes their posture a certain way. You can make that same brace out of muscle
Yes,
just
exactly.
by working out your abdominal muscle. So that's one thing.
Mhm.
The other thing is physiatry. So I had the same problem as this guy, and I was crawling upstairs. I had a cane. I bought a real highfalutin cane
Mhm.
because I figured I'd have it for a long time. I had the handicap
Mhm.
placard on my car.
Mhm.
It was so bad. And I did physical therapy, and it helped a little bit, but didn't help as much as I hoped that it would.
Mhm.
And I ended up going to a physiatrist, which is a physical medicine and rehabilitation provider. And that's the name of their specialty. They have the same problem as palliative medicine does.
Right.
Is, people hear that, they think it's a program, or you say, "I'm going to send you to a physical medicine rehab doctor." They go, "Well, I ain't going to no nursing home."
Yeah.
That's not it. That's the name of their specialty,
Yeah.
just like cardiology
Yeah.
or
Neurology,
pulmonology, neurology, dermatology. They need an ology name.
Yeah.
The problem is that physiology or physiology is already taken.
Mhm.
So, I don't know what and rehabology sounds stupid. So they're going to have to work it out. I propose that palliative medicine change its name to eleology because Elios was the god of mercy in
Mhm.
Greek literature. So they could just have an ology name. But anyway, what the physiatrists can do is they can take needles and put you on a fluoroscopy table, and they got this thing called a C-arm, and they'll move it around till all the holes in your back line up.
Yep.
And those foramina, that's the problem, is they're little holes where the nerve roots have to come out.
Mhm.
I hear you.
Time.
I'm going to take an extra minute on this one. Where the
1 minute.
nerve roots come out, and when exactly what Scott said, when you have that spondylolisthesis, that the vertebral body is slid forward,
Yep.
it makes those holes smaller.
Mhm.
And so what they can do is they can line those holes up and they can stick a needle in there and put some cortisone, cortisone-like medication, a steroid, and it decreases the inflammation. And I can do anything. I thought I'd never be able to go to Disney again
Mhm.
if we ever went to Disney
I
again.
want to go to
I,
Disney.
I could absolutely walk
Yeah.
the 9-10 miles a day
Yeah,
easy.
well, and I think with you, yours was so severe you couldn't get relief in any position.
No,
Or at least he is at the point now where he might be able
Right.
to keep from getting where you are with proper, But I would, physical medicine, they're great. Anybody that works in lumbar spine pain,
Yeah.
numbness, etc.
I even tried one of those inversion tables, and
Yeah.
it just made it worse.